Good morning guys, I hope you're doing great. Today is Tuesday, it is 7:20. About to go to the gym. Today we're training legs and I'm going to take you guys with me for the whole session, the warm-up as well. Not gonna lie, I'm a little bit anxious about doing this lower body session again because when I've done it last week, my quads were literally on fire for 3 days. So exciting and scary at the same time. And on top of that, the session was quite long. Unsure if it's actually long or if it's because it was the first time that I was doing it, so I needed a little bit more time to set up and to find my starting resistance as well. But we've got a warm-up, which is adductor, walking lunges and reverse hyperextension for glutes. 20 seconds, I wish. 20 reps of each, 4 rounds, no rest. So that's like a little circuit. That's after the mobility and activation, obviously. And then after that, I'll have seated leg curl, leg extensions. Leg extensions, I've got 4 sets, and that's probably what got me good last time. Then straight after the leg extension, I've got hack squats and then leg press, single leg, and some cyclist squats with the heels elevated. So yeah, mostly quads today. Anyways, before I'm heading to the gym, I'm just going to pack my bag and I'm going to show you what I am taking with me supplements wise. So I'm just taking you guys with me in the kitchen. This apartment is beautiful, but the light is so bright everywhere, so it's hard to find a spot where I can film with a good lighting. It's annoying. It's stressing me when things are not straight. Is it straight? It looks about straight. Alright, first thing first, I've already had my meal 1. This morning I had some crumpets with some yogurts and some fruits as well. And on my way to the gym, I'm going to drink my caffeine because you guys know I am a caffeine addict and I cannot work properly without my daily dose of caffeine. At the moment, my favorite ones are the Musashi ones. I think I started drinking these during my mini cut, and since then I'm obsessed. I actually like the Musashi energy drinks better than Monsters. So hopefully back home in France, they'll have these ones as well. I don't think I saw them last time I went back home, which was a year ago. I was having Monsters every morning, so oh well. If I have to go back to Monsters, I'll be sad, but hopefully they have the Musashis in France as well. So I'm walking to go to the gym and it is a 20 minutes walk. So I'm just drinking that slowly with a straw. My dentist has recommended to drink my energy drink with a straw because apparently it's better for the teeth. So this is what I'm going to drink on my way to go there. Now I'm also going to pack what I'm going to have once I'm at the gym right before I warm up, which is some creatine. Obviously, I'm not going to bring this big container with me at the gym. I'm just going to put one serve in this little plastic and I'll just drink that once I'm at the gym. I'll bring a little cup with me. And before I warm up, I'm also having my pump juice. Meant to have it half an hour before you start training, and my warm-up overall takes half an hour. So I'm just drinking this out of the cap one serve before I start all my mobility activation drill, warm-up circuits. Yeah, put it in a plastic bag because it gets very ill. Because I drink out of the lid, anyway, it's gross. Yeah, this basically helps with vascularity and helps to maximize blood flow. This basically helps to get a better pump. I actually hate the taste of that thing. It's got it like a shot of vodka, and I'm really focusing hard on not smelling it because it smells very acidic and it also has very thick texture, so I can't mix it with water or like make it last any longer. I just want to get it down. And last thing that I'm going to pack with me as well, my damage control, which is what I am drinking when I train, which is a mix of EAA blend, also has some electrolytes, which is great for hydration. Obviously I'm not bringing the whole thing with me, so I'm just preparing one serve, which is 11 grams in my shake. This is the Red Frog raspberry flavor. We've tried a different one at the training camp. I think it was watermelon. I like the watermelon better than this one, but this is still very nice to drink, which is great because, as you guys know, I hate the taste of water, so it's very hard for me to stay hydrated. So it's super important for me to drink something that I actually enjoy drinking. I'm not bringing my meal with me at the gym because I am going to come back here straight after, and my post-workout meal is a pancake, which requires a little bit of cooking, and I did a meal prep. So straight after the gym, come back here and have my meal too, and that's pretty much it. So I'll take you guys with me at the gym. Exciting, scary. So I'm going to run you through the whole workout. Starting off with the mobility, first thing first, I'm rolling on the floor for about 10 minutes. Even though I'm training legs, I'm still rolling my back, and this helps so much to open my thoracic because I'm always so tight, especially in my upper back. I'm also rolling my glutes and my quads. When you roll, the purpose is to find any tight spots. Once you find one, you stay on that zone, you insist on that zone until you feel like it's getting better. You should feel the pain easing at least a little before moving on to the next tight zone. I started mobilizing around a year ago. I was never that big on mobilizing before I actually got injured. So we'll live, we learn. But since I'm mobilizing, guys, my sessions feel so much better and my body feels amazing. Now, moving on with some drills on the floor. That warm-up that I'm doing, guys, you can have the whole video on Mike Holosi's YouTube channel. So if you don't already know, guys, Mike is my new coach, and this is a warm-up routine that he taught us during the training camp when he came in Sydney. Mike is very big on warming up, mobilizing, activating as well. And I must say that since I'm doing this routine, I'm feeling so much better. My body feels better. I'm enjoying my training sessions better. It feels like everything is just prepared and ready for the intensity of the workout that's to come. So yes, it takes extra time, that's for sure. It easily adds at least 20 minutes to the normal length of your workouts. But it's so worth it because not only it allows me to train being pain-free, but it also helps me to get more results because since I'm warming up properly, I did notice more muscle growth already, which is great because that's also one of the reasons why I came to see Mike initially. It was because I'm really struggling to grow my lower body. It's always been easy-ish for me to develop my upper body, probably due to gymnastics. I've always had a decent amount of muscle mass in my upper half compared to my lower half, but since I started with Mike, yes, I did see some growth happening in my lower body, which is great and makes me extremely hopeful for what's to come. So for every single drills that you're seeing here, I'm performing between 10 to 20 reps depending on the exercise. For this drill here, I'm actually performing 2 rounds because I've always had bad ankles and hips mobility. And by doing that drill, I've already noticed some improvements, especially when I'm squatting, so leg press, hack squat, pendulum squat. I noticed that I can go deeper without having my heels lifting up. So if you're watching this video, don't make the same mistake as I used to make, which is to skip the warm-up, because it makes such a huge difference, and not only physically but also it prepares you mentally to transition towards a training mode as opposed to just walking in the gym and jumping straight into your first working set. Once that I'm done with all the mobility drills and activation drills, on the floor, I am moving on to the warm-up circuits, which is 3 exercises back to back with no rests in between, 20 reps of each exercise, and repeating the circuit 4 times. So we have the adduction first, straight into walking lunges, straight into reverse hyperextensions. And let me tell you that after 4 rounds of these, I am nice and warm, ready to go. As you can see, because it's a warm-up, I'm not going to the failure. I'm keeping a few reps in reserve. I'm still trying to chase some sort of intensity, so on a scale from 1 to 10, I'm around 7, 8. So as I mentioned earlier on, the whole warm-up, including the mobility, the activation, and the circuit, takes around half an hour, but it's so worth it. Your body is going to thank you for that, and you'll also notice some crazy changes in your performance and in your physique. And afterwards, I'm jumping straight into the first exercise, which is seated leg curl. My rep range here is 10 to 15. I do have a specific tempo here, which is 3 seconds on the way up, 1 second pause at the top, 1 second on the way down, and 1 second pause at the bottom. I had 2 working sets here, but with this training program, my volume is increasing every single week. Depending on the exercises, not all of them, but on some exercises I'm actually getting extra sets, which is pretty new to me, but I am enjoying it so far, still surviving. Before I started working with Mike, I was never timing my rests, but I am now doing it. So 2 minutes rest it is before jumping into my second working set. Exercise number 2, and in my opinion, the hardest exercise ever, leg extensions. I don't know why, but I really struggle with this exercise. The pain is so intense that it actually makes me want to vomit, and sometimes I even feel like passing out in the middle of the set. Gives me anxiety just by talking about it. Anyways, so I've got 4 working sets here, 2 minutes rest in between each set. I do have a specific tempo here as well. 3 seconds on the way down, 1 second pause at the bottom, 1 second on the way up, 1 second pause at the top. And I do have something even more specific here, because I have 2 working sets with the seat close, and I have 2 working sets with the seat right back and leaning back, which once again is something that I've never done before. It's quite new for me, but it's savage. It's really savage. If you've never tried it before, try it, it's a killer. And on top of that, my rep range here is pretty spicy too, because I do have 10 to 20 reps here to get done. Fun, isn't it? There we go, guys. Watch me fight for my life here. After 4 sets here, let me tell you guys that my quads were completely numb already, and I was so ready to go back home by that point. But no, I couldn't, because guess what's next? We have the hack squats. Lucky me, this one is reverse banded, which means that I'm going to wrap an elastic band around the machine. And it's not only great to take some stress off of the knees at that bottom position of the squats, but it also kind of helps a tiny bit to go back up, which, not gonna lie, is nice, especially after flogging my quads for 4 sets on the leg extensions. Do not get me wrong though, it's still extremely challenging, especially when you've got a cheeky 2 seconds pause at the bottom, like me, but it provides that extra assistance and prevents you from getting stuck at the bottom when there's literally nothing left in your legs. So as I mentioned earlier on, I do have a specific tempo here as well, which is 3 seconds on the way down, 2 seconds pause at the bottom, explosive on the way up, and no pause at the top, straight back down. I have here 2 top sets and 1 back of sets. The top sets are 8 to 12 reps and the back of sets is meant to be 15 plus reps. I'm saying meant to be because you'll see what's going to happen in the back of set in a sec. I had 3 minutes to rest in between each set. I did my 2 top sets, everything was fine. I managed to remain within the rep ranges, and then obviously I dropped the load a little in order for me to be able to perform the 15 reps that were prescribed by my coach in my training program. But after 11 reps, not gonna lie, I knew that the 15 reps were going to be a challenge, a struggle, pretty much impossible to achieve. So I gave my best and I put my soul into this last few reps. But after 12.5 reps, that was me done. But if you don't try, you don't know. So I went into that rep number 13 with all my heart, and I thought that maybe I was going to make it, but I didn't, and that's okay. We failed, and that's fine. Thank you, Chris, for helping me with the machine. If only you were here half a second before to prevent me from failing, that would have been nice. At that stage, I was already cooked and my legs were already falling off, but that was not the end yet, because the next exercise we have a single leg press on the plate loaded machine with the feet quite low. This one is a quad focus variation, so we're really looking for that knee over the toes, that knee flexion. My rep range here is 10 to 15, and I do have a specific tempo here as well. So I've got 4 seconds on the way down, then I've got a quarter rep at the bottom, then explosive on the way up, and no rest at the top. Guys, you have no idea how many people actually stopped and asked me if I'm okay when I perform this exercise, because you can read on my face that I'm struggling, and that's mostly due to that quad rep. Honestly, this one is savage. Little tip here: if like me your left leg is weaker than your right one, always make sure to start with your weak leg first. You go all out, as many reps as you can, until you reach the failure point, or until the technique's breaking down or you can't adhere to the tempo anymore. Then you stop, and then you just match your performance with a strong leg. And this is how you actually correct all your muscle imbalances. But don't do more reps with a strong leg, even if you can do more reps with a strong leg. Otherwise, the strong leg is going to get even stronger, and you're never going to be able to fix this muscle imbalances. I had 2 working sets here and 180 seconds rest in between each set, aka 3 minutes. Okay guys, at that stage, I could barely walk. There's actually a few stairs between the main room and this room where I'm performing the dumbbell squats. And let me tell you guys that I have to support myself in order to go up the stairs. And there's not many, there's like 3 or 4. But every single time the girls at the reception, they crack up laughing because I can barely walk. My quads get so numb. Yeah, still going. Last exercise here to finish me off. This is a finisher, guys. If you've never tried that exercise before, you have to try it. So that's the cyclist squat with the heels raised. My rep range here is 8 to 12. I've got 2 working sets here, and rest period is 2 minutes. Cheeky tempo here as well. 3 seconds on the way down, 1 second pause at the bottom, explosive on the way up, and no rest at the top. Even though I hate this exercise because the pain is so intense, I'm also a huge fan of this exercise, and this is
one exercise that I love to add in my clients' programming, simply because it is so easy to go to the failure point on that exercise, and it is super safe to do so as well, because what's gonna happen if you fail? You basically just can't go up, which is what's happening to me right now. So super safe to do so, and extremely easy to take this exercise to the failure point. No excuses. And I've also recorded the calves here. I don't always do calves at the end of that program in particular. I basically have to do calves every second day. So on that day, it ended up being my second day, so I had to do it. I've got 2 exercises, which is the standing calf raise and the seated calf raise. I've got 45 seconds between each set, so I'm basically going from the standing calf to the seated calf back to back, just resting 45 seconds in between, which is not really rest. It's basically just the time for me to go from this machine to the seated one. For the standing calf raise, I've got 15 to 20 reps. For the seated calf raise, I've got 10 to 15, and I have to do 3 rounds, obviously taking every single set to the failure point. For the calves, I don't have any specific tempo to follow, but as a general rule, I would always go very slow on the negative phase of that exercise, because it's super important to go full range of motion here and to get a really good stretch in the calves, and then pushing all the way up through your toes in order to get that full contraction at the top. So I would always go with tempo like 3 seconds on the way down, 1 second pause at the bottom, 1 second on the way up, 1 second pause at the top, something like that. And by saying that, it's actually one of the big mistakes that I see when I see people training calves at the gym. It's either they go too heavy, which prevents them from going full range, or they basically don't have any tempo, they just use the momentum, they just bounce, which is definitely not the best way to go about it, and definitely not what is going to give you the best results hypertrophy wise. So if you want to grow your calves, drop the load, drop the ego, control on the way down, get a nice stretch at the bottom and a nice contraction at the top, and thank me later. And that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If that's the case, remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time for another video. Unsure what topic will be yet, but stay tuned. Bye peeps.